Hi, Karen Rao Carter here. It's time for Feng Shui Stories, and this is where you can hopefully pick up some good Feng Shui tips for yourself from me telling some stories from my clients. This is a commercial story, so if you have a business or you're thinking about building a new corporate headquarters, or you're in development, you're looking for the right property for your building, maybe you're growing and you're moving into a new office, here's some considerations to think about. I had a client who was a builder. He asked me to come and take a look at a building that they just completed for a client. So I went to the site, and the company had been they'd been in there about 9 months, but it was pretty new to them, right? So they were thinking about building another building, and I said, "Is this a publicly traded company?" And they said, "Yeah." And I said, "How much has the stock dropped since they've moved in here?" And he goes, "How did you know the stock dropped?" I go, "Well, this is what my job is, right? I take a look around. I pretty much know what's going on in people's lives by looking at their environment. It's my career. So I look at the patterns." So I drew a little picture of the building. So this was like the big warehouse, and maybe some of the corporate offices were along the front. But this little porte-cochere that came out where the people were supposed to drive up under it, and then they have a little overhead so they can get out and walk in the these are the doors underneath. When it's not raining there, or when it's raining, they've got protection, right? So that's a little porte-cochere there. And I said, what offices are up here? And he goes, "That's the CEO's office." And I'm like, oh my gosh, couldn't be any worse, right? So why? Well, first of all, having this big point, anytime you have an angle that's like less than 90 degrees, it really creates like harsh energy, we'll call it. And so that you've got this big finger, it's like me pointing at you. Everybody's like, "Stop pointing at me." So you've got this weird little shachi or unhealthy negative energy by pointing out. And now you've got the CEO, the guy who's supposed to be driving the ship, actually not in the ship. He's in front of the front door. Technically, he's in the front yard, because here's the front door back here. All these people are in the building. He's sitting out in the front yard. And there's thin air beneath him. People are driving underneath him. A very unstable environment. So you want to have, feet on the ground, roots on the ground, rubber meets the road kind of a thing, not hovering over in space with people that you don't even know what's going on underneath you like that. All right. So do you have a bedroom maybe that sits out in front of the front door? Maybe the kids are sleeping in front of the front door, and they're always running back to your room all night because they're scared because they're sleeping in the front yard. Or, are you the guy that's supposed to be in charge and you're sleeping outside? If the master bedroom is in front of the front door, hard to feel like a part of the family. If one of the kids is out here, they're the odd man out. This is a great place to put the guest bedroom or the home office, something that should be a little bit separate from the main goings-ons of the house, maybe mother-in-law's quarters, something like that. Somebody that shouldn't be taken over the whole family dynamic, but is a part of, so to speak. If your stove is in front of the front door, that's another position where there is a prosperity. The stove is your money maker. It's your little money maker. Shake your money maker. If it's in front of the front door, it's out in the front yard, it's not helping your energy in your house. So maybe, your front door is here, and then next thing you know, the piece of the kitchen sticks out in front of the front door like that. So stand in your front and your threshold looking in your house. If there's any part of the house behind you, whether it's up on the second floor only or not, consider it outside and not a part of, and see if that really tells you, oh yeah, that is kind of what's going on in life. Or maybe half the bed of the master bed is in front and half the master bed is in the house, and they're literally separated. One person's out of the house. You might find that showing up as, indiscretions, etc., etc. So watch out for that. All right, so try your best to get the CEO, the master bed, the children, and the stove in the house as much as you can. If you can't, you can do a cure where you can place a mirror somewhere in the house re- reflecting that piece of the house in. There can even be walls in between, but it's your intention. So place a mirror somewhere in the house facing that piece of the house with the intention of bringing it in the reflection. So now the reflection of it is in the house, which is as good as the real thing. There's no difference between it or a reflection of it in the feng shui world. So that's why we use the mirrors and the reflections. Hope that's been an interesting feng shui tip for you based on my sinking stock client. Yeah, if you have a business, feel free to contact me. I do commercial consultations as well as residential ones. Happy to do that. I've studied architecture, landscape. I'm a landscape architect, so I understand about land planning, looking for the right property for your business or for your home. So feel free to reach out and contact me for those types of consultations. I can be reached at support@KarenRaucarter.com. Hopefully that's down below, or my website's down below. And make any comments of any ahas that you got based on this information. That's your feng shui story for the day. I hope it's helpful. Bye-bye.